You're weak. You'll always be weak. You need a gun because you're weak. You need a gun because you're weak. You need a gun because you're weak.
All right, that's good. You need a gun because you're weak. Buddy, you need a gun because you're weak.
Right now, you're extremely weak.
Look at those arms. Look at the angel hair pasta arms. Can't even hold up the sign. Buddy, you are the one who needs... You're projecting. Your subconscious is probably trying to speak to you, but he can't get to you. So it's just working its way through this subconscious way of yelling, and you're yelling at yourself.
Yeah, is this
You
guy...
need a gun because you're weak.
100%. Is this guy also tacitly endorsing guns as like an equalizer? Like weak people can now be here.
Based.
Like, dude,
What side
he's
was
kind
he
of
on?
admitting it. Like women, if you're weak, get a gun.
Or like kids in like the schools, if it's a weak situation, you need a gun to be strong and equal. So it's like we need guns in the school would be a way to analyze that.
Yeah, he's one leap away,
Yeah.
I guess. But yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like, wouldn't weak people want to have a gun? Someone's incredibly weak walking around. I say I carry lots of cash. I'm weak.
You would need a gun.
Yeah.
What's this guy's move if something were to happen? Because he wants to live in the world where everything's ideal and there's no bad guys. So why does anyone need a gun? Well, what happens when a bad guy just busts in your door with a gun? This guy, I don't want to extrapolate too hard, but I would say he probably just curls up into a ball and waits for the guy to come execute him.
That's a good guess. And then he waits another 23 minutes for the police to respond.
Who will get there and maybe not run inside.
Exactly.
And not protect him.
Yeah. So
That's another like debunking of their arguments where it's like, we don't need guns, we have cops or whatever. It's like, well, if the cops aren't running in, you need guns. You need to, number one, protect yourself. Number two, rely on protection from others. But it's like, if you're not doing number one and number two isn't that fast, you're dead.
you call the cops. It takes 20 minutes. It's the weird, out of shape lady cop who was hired because of, some sort of quota.
Now we're
God
really in
forbid.
trouble.
Yeah, God forbid.
Or it's that Uvalde cop who told everyone to stand down who donates to Beto O'Rourke. And now what? You're just in trouble.
Yeah.
And you're going to be, it's not pretty. So our next guy is holding a sign that says enough is enough. And he's got transition lenses, which is usually a sketchy sign. Let's see what he's up to.
Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Enough is enough! Enough is enough!
That's
man, that facial expression there.
And he's like shaking and yelling, enough is enough. And it's like, hey, buddy, there is a problem. People are getting killed. We don't need you to help with the solution. You're shaking and yelling and out of control and acting like a girl. You're not really involved in the round table. Hey, what do we do to fix this?
Exactly. What's the difference between that and a tantrum? I mean, it's basically the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I think Elijah did him a little dirty here by like that zoom in and pause and like leaving that extra 5 seconds on the video.
Yeah.
Like just
But
shaking.
that's what you get. If you're really passionate about what you believe, then you should be ready to be confronted about it and asked about it and be able to back it up. Instead, you just scream, enough is enough. Like, all right, buddy, you're real tough. It's like, why don't we, if enough is enough, why don't we arm the teachers? Oh, we don't arm the teachers because it'll traumatize the kids because they'll be scared. No. I had armed security in my school, in high school, and we liked the guy. We'd make jokes with him. We never even saw the gun. We knew he had one, and it was great. We felt safe. But the whole idea of like arming the teachers, people think like, oh, like why should Miss Debbie, the math teacher, have a gun? It's such a huge responsibility. Let's find a guy who can handle it then. Let's find some Chad gym teacher, the football coach, the science teacher, someone who has guns, is familiar with guns, and is a Chad. And if something happens, we'll step up. And if the answer is we don't know if we have that, then that's the problem. The kids aren't safe if there's not one Chad person in the school who can handle that responsibility.
I wouldn't be giving a gun to these TikTok teachers,
but
the old semi-retired firearms instructor with gray hair who you could hit a quarter at 30 yards. Yeah, let's get him at the front. Let's get him at the single entrance of the school. How about that?
And if we don't have a guy like that, let's find a guy like that.
Let's talk.
Yeah, let's find somebody.
But yeah, no, just yell your tantrum, no solutions at the NRA people instead. Let's see where that gets us dialogue-wise.
Oh, yeah. And then there's like the thing this week, like the talking point this week was like Republicans, claim to be pro-life, but now the kids are dying and they don't care. And like they've completely like maligned us and like misrepresented our argument when we're actually the consistent ones. We're anti-kid murder in general, and we're also pro-life, which is anti-kid murder. This is how we look at it. If you're on the left, you've been saying it's a woman's right to choose all month. So you've basically been saying it's fine to murder kids. And now that this happened, you're saying, no, this is wrong. Look what the Republicans are doing.
The gun murdered the kids.
Yeah. So it's like they're the ones who are being inconsistent. If anything, we have been consistent the entire time. And it's like, how much of the issue do we blame on the gun? Like, what percentage? And if you ask the Democrats, I guess they're saying
85%.
85% the gun's fault, the NRA's fault. It's like, if it's the NRA's fault, then it's like it's more of Big Pharma's fault before that.
Yeah.
100%. But they don't seem to want to look into it because they're the ones who are trying to politicize everything, and while claiming we're the ones politicizing everything. Ethan Klein from H3.
Tier 1 Muppet.
Tier 1 Muppet. He said, listen to what he said about the NRA protests and what should happen to them.
So there was a big protest outside the NRA meeting, which was good. Do we have any insight into what they're actually talking about there at the NRA meeting that's today in Texas? Someone should bomb that building.
I like the wife on the side going,
I think she hates him.
I'm sure it's like a money thing. It's a money
they're
thing.
They're tied in. They've already committed. But in the beginning, he was funny and edgy, and they had like this fun empire they built together with their podcasts and their other shows. And at this point, it's like you can't pretend you like a weak man like that for that much longer. So it has to be.
He does the funny fat guy pictures where it's like you're the least athletic person ever, and that takes a toll.
The on purpose double chin and stuff, and it's funny for, I guess, people on Instagram, but for her, she can't be happy about that. And it's kind of like a peek behind the curtain, like him saying someone should bomb that place where there's innocent parents and kids and everyone, just
like
innocent
the
people.
Breadwinners of families, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a guy who loves hunting and he loves the Second Amendment because it's foundational to America.
Innocent patriotic Americans should get bombed.
Should get blown up. And then he backtracked it a little bit, like, oh, it was an edgy joke. It was like, that was just your instincts, buddy. That was like the first thing you thought of.
Exactly. It was not an edgy joke. It was just you talking freely. He should blame it on his Tourette's.
Does he have Tourette's?
I think he's got Tourette's, which is fine.
Joe Biden Tourette's, where it's like, or stutter, where it's like anything I did that was bad, that was the Tourette's or the stutter.
Yeah, I think that's his best angle right now.
Gotcha.
Would be to blame it on his Tourette's. The video came down, he got a strike, but I think if anyone else, if a right-wing person said, hey, we should go bomb XYZ place, you're done. You're toast.
Yeah.
Your channels are deleted.
Yeah.
You're off of every social media.
It's a foregone conclusion.
But he's friends with Susan Wojcicki.
Yep, he's very tight with her.
And yeah, this is interesting too because Ethan Klein has guns himself. Listen to what he said about his gun collection and what he fantasizes about.
Shoot you and kill you. Okay, so to say I'm against violence, this is how I sit in bed and I think about the lock combo on my gun cabinet. I imagine how fast I can get there, punch in the code, take out the gun, turn off the safety, put the bullet in the chamber. I think about that obsessively every night. And that's the world I live in.
There's his wife again looking like at her husband, pretend to be tough. But it's weird. Ian, why don't you get rid of the gun?
No man should have that gun.
No,
right?
no one needs a weapon of war like this.
Yeah, I think he's talking about it like a semi-auto shotgun.
Yeah, with the bullet you put in. I think it does sound like that's what he was saying. Ian, don't you care about the kids? Don't. Why do you need a weapon of war like this? Get rid of your guns. And it's in case I need to protect my family, I need it. Oh,
wow. But no one else has the right to protect their family.
Yeah, less important, I guess. People have less important families to protect. So Ian won't be getting rid of his guns.
Ian?
Ethan.
Yeah.
Ethan, even worse.
Yeah.
And then look at this video. There's a video of a guy who's taking his AR-15 and smashing it to pieces with a hammer.
Alexandria Rubio, 10 years old. Alicia Ramirez. Amaria Garza, 10 years old. Annabelle Rodriguez. Eliana.
So he's smashing his gun up, virtue signaling to the max. What were you planning on doing with that gun? This guy should be on a list somewhere. It looks like he was about to do a horrible shooting with that weapon, and he had to destroy the weapon because he wasn't.
He had no self-control or faith of control over himself.
It looks like he thought that weapon was going to be used to kill people.
Wow.
So, and he's preventing that. So I think that guy should we should take a look into him.
Yeah. Probably some darkness in his mind if he thought that gun was going to jump to.
Yeah, we have
some sort of
guns.
shooting.
We don't need to destroy anything. We're not using them for anything bad. We wouldn't need to.
I need more.
We need more to prevent bad things happening to us.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is like, oh, this AR-15, I need to destroy it or else it might kill people. Innocent people.
It's also a pretty serious 180 for this guy. Like, you bought a $1,000 plus AR-15, like that looks like you kind of customized it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then one thing happens and you're backwards now. What's your family? Who's protecting you? What's your address?
Yeah, put a sign. This is a gun-free zone in front of your house and see how that goes.
That's what Project Veritas did. They posted an old clip from like maybe 5 years ago or something. And it was like, hey, what's up? We're doing, door to door, seeing if people will put this is a gun-free zone. And people were like, I wonder if that's not just an invitation for criminals. And like their brain clicks and it's like, yeah. You don't advertise that. There's no yard sign for no guns.
Yeah.
They have the Stop Asian Hate, Black Lives Matter, this home believes in science, blah, blah, blah. But the guns, they don't do anything about that.
Mm-hmm. And then also just generally speaking with this whole situation with Ethan Klein, a lot of the consistent themes we're seeing is like the dehumanizing of the right. Like, it's not okay to be right wing because if you're right wing, like Ethan even said in his tweet that the Republicans are the party of dead kids, completely pinning this on the Republicans, not the mentally ill person who did the atrocity. And that is actually bleeding over into mainstream views now where people, if you're right wing and getting hurt or injured or beaten up, it's kind of like okay. I saw this clip posted by Occupy Democrats, which is like the worst left-wing progressive account of all time on Instagram. And it's basically of an old man wearing a Trump hat, and he's on the hood of a car. So a car came down the wrong way. He got in front of the car saying, hey, you're going down the run. This is a one-way. You're going the wrong way. Stood in front of the car. The guy starts driving. The old man, to try and stop him, sits or like lays on the hood. Not the best move. You don't need
I would not recommend that.
Don't recommend that. You don't need to get fully involved and try and stop a car. But because he's wearing a Trump hat, the driver starts driving fast with this old man on the hood of his car. Check this out.
Basically on my car.
Yeah. It's right in front of my car.
So it's not ideal, the guy on the car, but now you're driving like 40 miles an hour trying to get him off and like turning fast. And what's going to happen? You're going to run him off the road and you're going to send him flying and maybe kill him. Like driving this speed with the old man on the car, you're not in the right. This was posted by Occupy Democrats as if the driver did the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look at this old Trump man trying to stop the black guy. Oh, the black guy was right to go 40 miles an hour until the guy falls off. If that guy falls off going at decent speed, he's dead.
Yeah.
He's an old man.
That's one of the things I've seen a lot too. If there's like a video of a black person like attacking someone, or like it's like you said, political, like the Trump or a presumed Trump voter or something, they'll go, what happened before the camera started filming? Like that's the number one comment. It's like, so what did this white person do to get this person worked up? And it's like, I don't know, but someone's driving the car now.
Yep. And now they post that as if the driver is correct because being right wing is so bad that you side with people using violence against them, even if it's completely inappropriate.
Yeah. So imagine how much they dehumanize you if they took all the guns.
Ugh.
Imagine how bad it would get if they knew that the Trump hat guy for sure had no gun on him.
Yeah. And that's kind of their plan. That's what they're doing in Canada right now with their new ban of handguns.
Muppy Trudeau.
And that's the greater agenda, globalist-wise, bigger picture. And they're going to use these events.
He snapped into action.
Oh, yeah.
He was ready to go, reporting for duty to confiscate.
Mm-hmm. And right after those like mandatory lockdowns and like what they did to the truckers, it's a very ugly sign of the times. And it shows it's not over. It's not like, oh, yeah, COVID's done. We got a little overbearing and, we infringed a little too much on your rights. Now we're back to normal. That's the bar now, and from there they're going to take even more.
Yeah, and they were like, well, they did resist at that level, so maybe we need to put this on a slower timeline.
Yeah, give them off for the summer, and then we'll steal the guns from the backside, and then we'll come back in the fall and do it again. And they'll have no guns this time.
Yeah, it's just a slow and steady decline of your rights and your
Exactly. It's very sad to see. Like it's crazy that can get posted and people would be siding with the driver. Even if the guy was like so inappropriate and on top of the car, you just be like, "Hey, sir, get off the car, get out of the car, get him off the car." But to drive like that speed, you're trying to kill someone because you fully dehumanize them in your mind.